everyone, my name is Brittany and welcome back to my channel. And today I'm going to be reading Sally Rooney for the first time.
It's Brittany, bitch.
Sally Rooney, the Irish author, she's extremely popular. She only has 3 books out, which is Conversation with Friends, Normal People, and Beautiful World, Where Are You? And this is her 3rd novel. Now, I have not read any of her other novels whatsoever. I really wanted to watch the TV show Normal People, but I've refused until I read the book. And you know what? Her books scare me. She's kind of like an elitist author, it seems like. I just feel like all the really smart people really enjoy her. And so I'm kind of concerned that I won't. I just called myself dumb, but that's not what I mean. I'm an English major. I can fucking read Middle English. I can read this. But I'm just saying, I feel like the very pretentious people, I'm making it worse. Anyway, so I'm gonna attempt to read Beautiful World, Where Are You by Sally Rooney. And I'm very excited. I also have the audiobook for this, and it is with an Irish narrator because obviously she's an Irish author. And I'm not gonna lie, it's a little hard to listen to because I'm not used to the Irish accent. So this book, I don't really know too much what it's about, and I'm 50% of the way into this already. I'm halfway through this novel, and I still can't really tell you what it's about. It's basically about 4 people. So we're following 2 couples. We're following Alice and Felix, and then we're following Simon and Eileen. And they're kind of like couples going through like the beginning stages of coupledom, and I think they're kind of falling in love throughout the whole process. It's kind of like their 2 romances we're following individually, and then Alice and Eileen are like best friends writing each other emails back and forth, and that's kind of how this book is going. 50% of the way in, I can say I'm genuinely shocked that I don't hate this. I'm actually enjoying it, but I don't really know what I would rate it or even how I really feel about it. But I just feel like Sally Rooney has put a spell on me as well as other people. And she's like, you will like this book, you will read it. And for some reason, I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the ride. I am listening to the audiobook really slow though. The audiobook is at 1.25. which is like barely above like normal speaking level. So anyway, I'm having a hard time with it just because of the accent, but I'm also just listening to it slowly so I understand and fully grasp the story because I don't want to miss anything. This is an extremely character-driven novel, as are all of her novels, I believe, and there's not really a whole lot of plot, so I don't want to miss any interaction between any of the characters. I will say Sally Rooney writes awkwardness extremely well, and she also writes extremely vivid sex scenes that are very vulnerable. I think that's the whole point of her books is she comments a lot about like things like mental illnesses. She has bisexual characters in here, which I love, and they're represented extremely well. I'm loving the representation and the talk about classism in here and poverty and what it's like for other people that are not rich. And there's also an author in here, and I think that's kind of an homage to herself and how she feels about certain things. And she even talks about classist literature and how it's kind of elitist and people think it is, but it's really just accessible. Sally Rooney is just giving. So am I a stan yet? I don't know, but I'm not hating it. So I'm gonna hopefully try and finish it tomorrow while I'm at work. I listened to the 50% today at work, and then I read a little bit physically. Obviously there's no quotation marks in here, so that bothers you. I think it's gonna be a problem with all of her writing, but doesn't bother me. Anyway, I feel like I'm gushing a little bit, but I will say something I don't like about this book so far, and I feel like there's a lot of unprotected sex. I'm not okay with that. I am all for sex. Love the sex scenes, but there was actually a scene where the guy offered her a condom, and he's like, oh, let me get a condom, and she said, no, I'm on birth control. Bitch, does birth control protect you from STDs? Does it protect you from STIs? I don't fucking think so. Do you want to wake up with herpes tomorrow? That's how you get herpes. Especially because both these couples are still not like exclusive. I just don't understand like the trust level of the unprotected sex in this book. Like blatant unprotected sex. Like I am literally so frustrated. It's one of my biggest pet peeves in life as well as in books. But the sex scenes themselves are very hot. They're very vulnerable and very sweet and like open. I think that she does relationships really well, especially awkward relationships at the beginning. Like I'm enjoying the relationships, but I don't really know if I know these characters that well. I just like am enjoying the ride. I would enjoy it more if they used a condom. So I'm gonna try to get to at least the 75% mark by tomorrow, and then I'll let you know how I feel about it. But so far, I really don't have a rating for you. I really don't know how to feel about it, but I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the ride, and I'm not hating it. So that is a plus.
I got my head out the sunroof. I'm blasting our favorite tunes. I only got one thing on my mind. You got me stuck on the thought of you. You're making me feel brand new. You're more than a sunshine in my eyes. You got those pretty eyes in your head. You know it. You got me dancing in my bed, so let me show it.
Okay, so I ended up finishing beautiful world, where are you? And I honestly was going to update you at the 75% mark, but nothing fucking happened except for all 4 of them meeting. And I think I'm gonna give this book like 2.5 stars. Honestly, I think it's fine. I just don't really think it's anything to like write home about. I think my biggest complaint too is, especially on audio, it's really hard to like tell the 4 characters apart. I feel like both the women were really similar, and I feel like both the men were really similar, especially because both the women were writers in like their own respective ways. That was just really hard to like tell them apart half the time, except for Eileen was definitely a little more like whiny bitch, depressing mode. And then Alice was always complaining that she was a rich millionaire and nobody liked her for who she really was. Other than that, I feel like this book really was just not what I was expecting. I really liked the first half. I feel like the first half was okay, and like the second half was just extra boring and just not interesting. I think for such a famous author, I think I also had higher expectations for sure. Like I was expecting something a little bit better, but I think I'll just have to give her other book, Normal People, a try, because that's the one that everyone I like talk to is like in love with and absolutely is obsessed with. And I think the difference for this one too is this one also has a happy ending, and her other 2 books don't have happy endings. There's something I can tell you about the ending, but I can't because it's technically a spoiler, because there's also no fucking plot in this book. So if I tell you that little last part, it's gonna ruin like the last 10 pages. But a lot of people did not like the last 10 pages, and I would agree, because I just feel like it took like a bad situation and made it good. And I know that also the end of the book brought up the like quarantine and our pandemic. I know a lot of people may not like that, but I think that she intended this to be like a beacon of light during the pandemic. But I don't know, I just really didn't enjoy that. And I think this book was just a little unrealistic as well in terms of like the point of views, because we have 3 point of views, right? We have the omniscient point of view, and then we have Alice and Eileen sending each other letters. And they're not letters, they're fucking emails. But they read like letters that somebody sent each other in the 18th century, because there's no way that people in modern day send each other emails like this. They're just completely unrealistic, and I've never seen someone ever write letters like this to each other through email, and they all have the same exact tone. It's not like they each have their own personality, and it makes more sense. I think that's also why I couldn't really tell anybody apart in this book unless they were like specifically talking about somebody, because they just are so similar as people, and the character development really wasn't there for a character-based book. I can definitely see why people think this is really pretentious, because it definitely is. And some parts of this are really beautiful. Like the writing is honestly undescribably beautiful and like deep and moving. But then so much of this is just like filler, and I really don't understand why this was 350 pages long. I feel like this could have been a novella and I would have still gotten the same exact things out of it, which is pretty much nothing. So I think it's gonna get rounded up to 3 stars for me, but honestly, I'm not that impressed. But it wasn't the worst book I've ever read, and I definitely would try her Normal People book, because I know it's about anxiety and stuff, and I know that the relationship does not end on a happy note, which makes me sound like I want to read it for some reason, because I like to torture myself. And a lot of people said that actually made them cry, so I'm hoping that's a good emotionally deep book, because this one definitely just scratched the surface, and it had some vulnerable moments, but it couldn't keep the pace up the entire time. And I didn't connect with any of the characters. I'm pretty sure I'm going to forget this in about 2 days. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe. I'll talk to you guys next time.